I'm heading up north for a 10-day backpack archery mountain goat hunt. I've never had anything happen to my bow in the field in the past, but there's always a chance. D-loop could break, peep sight could come out. There's all sorts of little things, little weird things that could happen. So for this hunt and every hunt, I am bringing my archery emergency kit. This kit weighs 3.5 ounces and it allows me to fix most problems I'm going to have in the field, short of cutting my bowstring. If that happens, I've got a backup bow. It's not going to be on my back, but it's going to be back at the main camp. Let's dive into this thing and I'll show you all the things I have and why. Weight is everything on a backpack hunt, and I wanted this to be as light as humanly possible. So again, 3.5 ounces, got it all contained in this little Ziploc bag. Let's dive into it. This first piece is from Matthews, and this allows you to service your bowstrings or your cables. The reason you might want to do that is, say your peep sight comes flying out or it gets broken or something, you're going to be able to service your strings in the field without a bow press. We've literally just got basically a piece of bowstring here with a loop on this end, a loop on this end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to back out my limbs 4 turns with an Allen key, which I have. Then I'm going to take this loop, put it around a little notch on the cam, then I'm going to pull the bowstring down with my hands, put this loop on the other side, and it's basically going to rotate the cams in and completely depress your bowstring and allow you to work on it. Kind of crazy. I've got an Allen key specifically for my limb bolts. I've got another Allen key, this one specifically for attaching my sight to my bow. Another Allen key for my sight. And then I've got this little tiny Allen key, and this one is for adjusting my tension release. You'll notice all of these Allen keys, I've got a little piece of bright yellow tape on them in case I were to drop them in the grass. These things, especially this little guy, would be almost impossible to find. So a little tape just makes them high vis. 2 feet of D-loop material. Obviously you can tie a D-loop, and if your cable between your rest and your string happens to break, there's 2 feet of this, so there's plenty of room to put it onto your rest as well. I've also got a little peep sight in here. 5 feet of floss on this little guy. This is just a little stick that I wound it up, just the lightest thing I could find. And floss is really good for serving material. Ideally, probably just have serving material, but if you don't, floss works great. And I would probably use this for tying in a new peep sight. I've got 3 extra nocks for my gold tip pierce arrows. I've got a blunt tip. So one of my 5 arrows in my quiver, I've got it flipped upside down and it has got a blunt tip on it. And what I would like to do is every single day, multiple times a day, I want to just shoot stumps, shoot grass patches, just be in the rhythm of shooting my bow. What I don't want to do is go 10 days and then finally get an opportunity at a mountain goat on, say, day 10 and draw my bow for the first time. Like, I want to be kind of in the rhythm of shooting a lot. So 1 arrow in my quiver has already got a blunt tip on it, and this is just an extra one. Another thing that could happen is, say your sight somehow gets all out of whack. Say you break your sight and I brought my backup sight and I need to re-sight in. If I don't have a target in the field, I need to be able to shoot something and not break my arrows, and that is where a blunt tip comes in. These are 2 backup broadheads. I've got them wrapped up in masking tape just so they're not pokey, not gonna stab anything. All of my inserts are glued in with hot melt glue, and this stuff's pretty slick. I could literally hit it with a lighter, kind of melt it and reapply it to some of my inserts and glue them back in. So if I happen to have some inserts come out while I'm in the field, say I'm shooting stumps and one of my inserts pulls loose, I can just kind of hit it with the lighter quick, put it on my inserts, re-glue them in. It doesn't weigh a thing. And finally, spare rangefinder battery. Right before this trip, I did put a brand new battery in my rangefinder, but just on the crazy rare chance that my rangefinder all of a sudden died, really want to have a backup battery. A couple things that are not in this specific archery emergency kit that I have just in other places that are multi-use. I've got a little Leatherman squirt. It's just this little tiny Leatherman. It's got pliers on it. It's got a little knife, and that could be obviously very useful for working on your bow and working on your bowstrings. And I've got a couple different lighters in various different spots. For this hunt, I'm going to be rocking 2 different releases. One's gonna be primary, one's gonna be backup. I'm probably gonna have both of them on me in my bino harness. My primary is going to be the Stan Onyx clicker, and then my backup is going to be the Evolution Outdoors Ibex. It's a hinge release. But always wanna have 2 in case I lose one, in case some weird mechanical failure happens with one, I can just grab the other, shoot with it. One's obviously a thumb button, one's a hinge, but impact-wise, it's pretty much the same. I honestly can't tell a difference. And finally, I don't work on my bow that often, and I've only tied probably like 5 D-loops in my entire life. So on my phone, I've got a few little video clips on how to tie a D-loop, how to tie a D-loop properly. I've got a couple diagrams on how to use the SAS system for math to use properly. I've used it a few times. It's super simple, but man, when you're in the field and you don't have access to the internet to see how to do these things, just like saving a few clips or saving a few photos to your phone can be pretty helpful. Also on my phone, I've got some mountain goat anatomy photos. Mountain goats, typically their vitals are a little bit further forward than a lot of critters. So if you are taking a broadside shot, you wanna be right in the crease, if not even a little bit forward. And so like I don't wanna be aiming back here. I wanna get it like right up in here. So having those photos, being able to constantly look at them and kind of remind myself like that is where I need to aim, just gonna be a good reminder. So that was a quick run through of my archery emergency kit and a few other things. Got about a 3-day drive up to the Yukon, and then we're archery goat hunting for 10 days. So fun times ahead.